Hi everyone, it's Helen Griffin here and thank you for joining me today. So today I have an Arteza art review. They contacted me a couple of months ago and asked if I would like to try some of their products, and I said yes, and I chose my items. It's just now until now today I have time to actually do a proper in-depth review of these products because I really want to try loads of different things with them. So today's the day. So if you guys want to order any of these, there is a 10% off coupon. I will put that here. It's a code, and they also offer free shipping. I think it's on their UK and their US ones. I'm not too sure about the other websites, but definitely the US and the UK. So the links for those will be down below. And Arteza do loads and loads of art products, as well as a few quilting things and other products too. So it's definitely worth going over there and having a browse and seeing what they have. So let's get into these products here. So first up we have 12 half pans. So I will be opening up these up and having a quick review of those and see how they work. And you also get a water brush as well, so the water actually goes in here, so this is perfect for when you're traveling. And they do larger sets of those too. So I also got some water brushes as well. I love these, and you get 3 different sizes as well. So so they go from fine to quite thick. And then we have these pens here. Now I've seen these being used on some of the Arteza adverts that pop up on my Instagram and Facebook, and they have some wonderful artists playing with these and creating some lovely freehand pictures, paintings of flowers and things. And I'll be using some stamped images before I even dare to even try do something like that, but it is something that I'd like to work my way towards. So these are the water brush pens, and they look really good, so I really can't wait to try these. And these are a pack of 48, and you also get one of these water brushes inside as well. And last but not least, I wanted to try the Arteza paper with the Arteza watercolour products. So these came in a pack of 3, and they're just the right size for card making and other projects, and you get 30 sheets in each one, and they're also perforated as well, so you can remove those. So I'll be taking a few of those out for when I start stamping on them and everything. So they are slightly textured, and they're off-white, so this will be white, so it's kind of an ivory colour. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with those. So I'm going to need some products too, and stamps and things to do my techniques with. So first of all, I'll be using the Daisy May Design Peony bloom stamps. So I haven't actually tried these yet. These are brand new to me. So I was really excited when I saw these and I had to get them. So I'll be using both of these sets, and I'll be using some of the watercolouring techniques with this one. And then in my okay, so let's open up these first. I don't think I'm going to actually keep these in the box. I'm going to try and find somewhere else to store them. They do come in these handy trays. Here we go. So there's a pack of 48 here, and we have the water brush at the top. Now this one looks like it's the larger one out of this pack here. Yep, it's one of the larger ones. And then we have so many colours. And the good thing is it has the colour at the bottom as well as the top. So we've got the greys and browns on the bottom, and then we have the greens and the blues here, and then this moves into the pinks and the blues and purples here. So I guess it would go that way. And then we have here some browns, oranges, yellows, and a pink as well. So we've got a really good mixture there of colours. So I'll be sport for choice there when I do the Peony. Okay, so moving on to the 12 half pans. Let's open this one up. So here we have a tiny little water brush pen. Love these, and what you do is you squeeze the barrel to get the water out, and I may even keep this just to put my brush in. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And then here we have the little box of colours here. It's so cute. Oh, I love this already. It's so tiny. I don't want to scratch any of this paint, so I'm going to be really careful. Because it's a tin, it's a proper tin. I don't really want to damage it with the scissors, so be careful opening that. Okay, so I've already noticed there's a tiny little handy feature here, so you can hold on to it just like that. That is absolutely perfect. And then we also have some watercolour pans here. I didn't know if this actually had that in there, so I probably won't end up using that, but that's a tip there. And then we have a colour map here, colour key. So this just slides out like that. So it's got all the names and the codes as well, so I believe you may be even be able to get refills for these pans. So let's pop that, use this colour thing, a couple have come out. So we can pop those back in, just like so. So the nearest goes in first, and then you push it at the back and that clips in. So we've got some really nice colours here. Can't wait to get started on those. So what I'll probably do is trim that out and then keep this somewhere handy. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying those out. Don't think that's going to fit in there, but that's fine. Okay, so here we have the water brushes. Okay, so this pack here is an optional extra, because with all the other packs you do actually get a version of these with the watercolours and the art brush pens as well. So these are literally just an optional extra. So they've made sure that you have everything you need from the other packs to get started. Okay, so we've got 4 of those, and these just work exactly the same way. So I'll be filling these up with water, and you squeeze them out, the water comes out here, and then you can just go ahead and watercolour. Okay, so that's the pack of 4. Okay, so I think I've opened everything up now, so I'm going to do I'm going to speed up the video and do some of the voiceovers for it as well, so we don't want an extra long video. So let's get started on our first project. Okay, so I'm starting off with some Versafine Onyx black ink and my Tim Holtz stamping platform, and because it's watercolour paper I'm going to be stamping that down 3 times, hence why I'm using the stamping platforms. Then I get the image stamped in the same place every single time. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to quickly look through these colours and decide which ones I'm going to use. So I'm thinking red and pink would look really good, so I'm just testing those out there. And if I do go too fast for this, there are options here in the YouTube to slow it down a little bit. So if you need it slowed down, just find those options. So I'm just making sure that my ink is properly dry, so I'm using my heat tool just to set that. And so I use a few techniques here, and the first one I'm trying out is the wet on wet. And so I've added some water with the water pen, and now I'm adding the watercolour pens on top and seeing how that goes. So now I'm just building up some of the colour. So I'm pretty pleased with how that's turned out, so I'm going to try another flower here. So I did put too much water on there, so I'm just soaking that up, and then I'm going to try again. So there was still a bit too much water, so it wasn't really working. So then I'm just trying again, and it does work. So now again I'm just going over the same areas, just building up a little bit more colour. And there are places in the image there where there are lines, and it can be quite easy to tell kind of where the shadows are going to be. So I found a darker red now, so I'll be using that for my shadows. So I've just added some, and now I'm just blending some out with the water pen again. Just add a bit more water just to blend that out. I'm going to try the same method on the first flower, and I think that one looks a lot better. Okay, so that's the first technique, that was the wet on wet. And now I'm just going to use some greens here just to try out the leaves. I didn't like that one. So I'm looking for 2 shades of green, so I go for the last 2. So trying the wet on wet with the leaves again. Putting on the lightest colour first and then blending that out with the water pen. And then I'm taking the darker one, just adding little bits here and there, just for the shadows and the variation in the leaves. And then I do exactly the same on the stems. I'm going in with the lightest one now, so I haven't actually added any water to this prior to putting on the colour. And now I'm adding the darker green, just in areas where there would be some natural shadows where they cross over, and I'll add a little bit more underneath the flowers as well. Okay, we've sped this up again. We are going to be trying another technique where it's just simply using them as you would with colour pens or pencils, just adding the detail. So I'm starting with the lightest colour first, and then where the shadow would naturally be, and there's little lines there that will tell you, I'm just adding a little bit more of the darker colour, and then I'm going back to the lighter colour just to blend that out. And these pens work really well for that. I was really enjoying myself colouring this in. Again, if you want to slow this down, you can do. There are in the speed options in the YouTube settings. Okay, so that is a lot of the colouring, and that's it done. So I'm going to be moving on to my next flower now. So I'm using the same stamp set again. So I've got some embossing, it's called an embossing buddy, so it basically is an anti-static powder. And then I'm using Wow embossing ink just to get that down. You can't actually see it because it's invisible, pretty much it's clear, so you won't see it until I put this powder on. So that's by Nuvo. And again, all the links for all these products will be listed down below. So I'm just adding that on and then just shaking that off, little tap. And there is a little bit of powder, I think, on there. So I'm just using a dry paintbrush just to wipe anything off. So I'm just grabbing my heat tool now. So I like to let that heat up for about 30 seconds. So this is sped up, so that was a quick 30 seconds. And then I'm just heating up the back of the paper. It's quite thick paper, so the paper needs to heat up first before the embossing powder starts to melt. So as you can see, that goes quite quickly. So it's looking really pretty. Okay, so now we're going to start with the watercolours. So just moving the camera closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm adding some just plain water from the pen straight into the palette, and then dipping into the light red, and then there's a little bit of a darker red there, which is more of a magenta shade. So I really like that one. So I'm adding a light wash of the lighter red first along the whole of the petal. You can leave white areas if you wish. I will be experimenting some more with the same stamp set just to see what other sorts of shading and flowers effects I can do. So as you can see, I'm going for petals that are not connected. I don't really need to do this as much as it's heat embossed, so the edges of the detailing is raised, but if you do go for a black ink, there'll be no raised areas, so you need to do each individual petal without letting the petals touch, and then waiting for it to dry and then doing the petals in between. So I'm just going in now with a little bit of the darker pink, just where the natural shadows are. Even if you add too much, just take a little bit of a kitchen towel or tissue, just soak that up. No, don't wipe, just let it, just gently tap it on there and it will just soak up all the excess. I really enjoyed doing this one as well. I think I may have overworked this one by adding too much of the dark pink in some of the petals, so I'm definitely going to be trying this one again, and I'll definitely be using a lighter hand. So here I am mixing up some greens actually, and I did add a little bit of blue into that dark green because I do like to add just a little bit of blue there. So I'm starting with the stems here. Just doing all of them the same colour, moving on to the petals. And the green in the top right corner, it was the one that I mixed up. I used 3 shades, but I used the light green, the blue and the dark green together. And because the stems are still wet, I'm just adding a bit of the dark green in, and it's just literally just spreading up the stem, so it's a really nice effect there. Even just watching it, it's quite nice to watch. And if I can next time, I will zoom in a little bit more, just so you can see what I'm doing a little closer up. Okay, so that's pretty much the flowers finished, but I am going to add a background now. Quickly drying it off again. You can leave that to air dry naturally, but because I'm impatient, I just quickly use my heat tool. It's always good to keep that area clean, unless you're going to be using the same colours again. Otherwise you can just let them dry in the palette and they will be there for next time you need to use them. So I'm just mixing up some blue, and I've moved over to another brush. This is one with the larger brush end, and so I'm watering down the blue just to create a blue wash behind the bunch of flowers, and I'm adding some more intense pigment around the area of the flower. I hope that makes sense. You can see what I'm doing anyway. So I'm just adding my light wash around and then going in around the edge with some of the darker blue. Okay, so that's finished. It's quite wet now, so I'm going to have to leave that to dry. And those are my 2 projects all finished, ready for me to make into cards. Okay, so here are my cards. I'm all done now, so we'll start with this one. This one was using the watercolour pens, and I absolutely love how that has turned out. I was able to get a good amount of depth in there as well, using just the same pen again and again. I did use 2 different shades of red, so I was able to get some good depth into where the shadows are going would be, and I've matted it onto the same watercolour card so it matches the rest of the die. So I used the die to cut this out. I didn't fussy cut that, and then I've mounted it onto red cardstock. So I love this one, and I can't wait to give this one away. And this one I absolutely love as well, because I just love the gold and the pink together, and with the blue behind it as well. It just reminds me of a lovely spring day, looking at blossom in the trees and things, so I really like that. And I've mounted that onto pink cardstock. I've used white Nuvo drops, just these ones here. I would have used sequins if I had the different sized iridescent type ones, but I don't have those, so I stuck to the white Nuvo drops. So those are my 2 cards. Right, so that was today's tutorial, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really do hope that you give this a try. Using this Peony stamp set from Daisy May is absolutely perfect for beginners if you've not tried this before. It really is so easy, especially as the stamp hasn't actually got a lot of lines in for filling. It's absolutely perfect for creating all the effects that you're trying to create. So I would like to thank Arteza for sending me these products. I'll put the coupon code again there. It's Helen Griffin 1. It's for 10% off, and that is valid until the 20th of June. And I must say that the links down below are affiliate links, and they don't cost you anything extra, but it does support this channel, as I do get a small portion of the sales from anything that you do buy. I must say it really does support this channel, and I wouldn't be able to do that without any sort of affiliate links. So I really do want to thank anyone that does actually click on any of my links down below. So yes, thank you Arteza for sending me the products. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe. I have plenty more videos coming along. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.